I think this whole week, I'm going to show the residents of Johannesburg why it would be detrimental for people of color if we had Helen Zille of the DA as our mayor. I want people's brains to comprehend the fact that the DA contributed little to the development of Cape Town. Stop giving credit where it's not due. I say you guys praise the city of Cape Town, but then forget the townships and rural communities that the DA has neglected. We literally spoke about how Cape Town is being built by foreign money. The private markets have literally turned Cape Town into a monopoly board, and they have no interest in taking care of Black and colored people. That's why they live far away from the city.
How then does the DA address, a very, very long period of historical injustice? How does that?
You will never address that without economic growth. That is the first requirement. If you've got a declining economy and people who have capital and skills leaving the country or all moving to the Western Cape, you're not going to have a rate space.
Lots of people moving back to Johannesburg.
No.
The figures show it.
Well, I look very carefully at the figures because I see
certainly from a property point of view, the property people will tell you that people are, moving back because they simply can't afford property in Cape Town.
And why can't they afford property? Because there's so much demand. If they could, why do you think it is? It's supply and demand. Right?
I think that there's a case to be made for the fact that foreigners have bought up properties at such extreme prices that this has affected the entire housing market in the Western Cape. And that's why, people are buying, let's say, even at the kind of million rand mark, are finding it difficult.
Yes. A lot of foreigners are bought on the Atlantic seaboard. That is true. That is true. But you know how much some of them pay us every month to live in their own houses? They pay 40,000 rand in rates alone.
Sure.
Every month to live in their own house.
Sure.
That's not the bond. That's nothing. It's not their water and electricity.
This issue has come up across Europe. It's come up in New Zealand.
I know, but let me explain this to you. The amount they pay in rates enables the city of Cape Town to offer the most generous, free basic services package to poor people. So the point I'm making to you is this. If you don't have a rate space and if you don't have economic growth, you will never deal with the injustices of the past. And if you are going to pretend that you can destroy the economy and deal with the injustices of the past, you're only fooling yourself. And that's what the ANC...
I hate the fact that she said foreign private markets and their investment in property makes the DA a lot of money, and that helps them or helps the DA to provide free services to the poor. The same poor that lives like this, the same poor people that live like this. Without foreign investment, the DA would have never been able to govern the city of Cape Town the way they are now, if we're being honest. Like foreign investors, that's where the money comes from. The white-owned rand and the private markets control the Reserve Bank. And obviously, they would rather put all their money on a white-led government than a black one. It's not like the ANC municipalities are a failure. No, there is no support or confidence in the black government. And I know that the ANC is corrupt and they have blown through state fundings, but so has the DA. The only difference is that there will always be more money to be pumped into the DA than the ANC. Whether it's the Reserve Bank or foreign private markets, there will always be more money for the DA. I mean, the rand has already shown you guys that it is racist. The DA threatened to leave the government of national unity last year, and immediately the rand weakened against the dollar. So please don't tell me that the rand is not racist. I won't lie, Cape Town's infrastructure is flawless, but it can't all be because of the DA, guys. Let's calm down. The DA is corrupt just like any other political party. They just know how to hide it well, and they have the white-owned media and journalist power behind them to help them hide their discrepancies. And when we ask her about these corrupt scandals of the DA, she deflects. Check out this clip.
Let's say you are found to be involved in corruption, things like the Zille book tenders. How do we approach that? Because you already said that that's not the vibe that you're going to go on, but it has come up. Once again, my question to you is, it just sounds like you're saying the DA is corrupt, but we're not as corrupt as the ANC. So how do you work around that when there is some sort of trail that there has been corruption in the DA?
That is hilarious, Anele. You say you're not insulting me. That is an extremely insulting
Guys,
thing to
was that
say.
an insult?
It is a deep insult to say that the DA is corrupt and that I'm corrupt.
No,
a deep insult.
But okay, the Zille spook tender files
Helen,
did
just-
present corruption.
Can I just say, Anele never called you corrupt.
She says, what about the Zille corruption? So let me now
Zille
answer her question.
spook
Frankly,
tender. No, I didn't say the Zille corruption.
What is the Zille spook tender?
Kaloku, there was also allegations of corruption under you. So I'm saying, if that is found, because you are saying the reason you're going to be able to
I'd
run
love to hear corruption under
Johannesburg.
me. I'd love to hear corruption
Yes,
under me.
but that's what I'm saying, that you are
Give
saying
me
that the
evidence.
reason that
Give me
Johannesburg
evidence.
is not run well is because that you're right, the money does disappear. That's something you and I both agree on. But I'm saying that there are allegations of corruption within the DA.
Examples?
So would you
Examples?
Helen Nancy, this book files the 10 is on.
Which book? Give me examples, please.
Helen, is there anything else you'd like to say before we make sure that every single time that you are here campaigning, we want to hear from you?
If you ask me a question and make an allegation, you have to substantiate it. Simple.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. There were allegations. So what I'm saying to you is...
Allegations is not proof.
If there is found to be corruption within the DA, right?
Yeah.
That means that you can't do what you're saying that you are going to do.
Okay, let me give you an answer to that question, Anele. The bottom line answer to that question is...
She's so condescending in the way she answers questions as well, you know. You know why she's cocky besides just being a typical white privileged woman? Ramaphosa endorsed her, emboldened her, gave the DA ammunition to throw rocks at us when he said this.
And those municipalities that do best are not ANC-controlled municipalities. And I can name it here because there's nothing wrong with competition. They are often DA-controlled municipalities. We need to ask ourselves, what is it that they are doing that is better than what we are doing? And there's nothing wrong with us saying, we want to go and see what Cape Town is doing. We want to go and see what Stellenbosch is doing. How do they craft everything? We need to be moving up the ladder.
If you go to any ANC-run municipality, people of color are worse off than they are in any DA municipality. And that's a fact.
So
and even the president knows that.
Yeah, so what you...
By the way, Ramaphosa was not just praising the DA for their good work in Cape Town. What he was trying to tell South Africans is that we are approaching a period where we will be transitioning to white leadership. Why do you think Ramaphosa is endorsing her mayoral campaign? Johannesburg, let me ask you this question. Are you ready for a white mayor that refuses to be held accountable? A mayor that deflects whenever she's asked about her political party's discrepancies? She's all too happy to talk about the ANC's corruption, but when the wheels turn, she deflects. She deflects like that. A mayor that uses foreign investments to isolate native South Africans into the slums and make it difficult for them to afford or live in the city, and turns around and say, well, if you have a good paying job, you'll be able to afford living in the city. Downplaying the huge unemployment problem that plagues Black people. A mayor that claims she did more to fight against the apartheid regime than most Black people in this country, yet there is no proof of that. But in the same breath, says apartheid was not that bad.
In a series of 2017 rants on then Twitter, Helen Zille went on saying that colonialism and its effects was not all negative, as we got a bunch of positive things like piped water, infrastructure, as well as private healthcare or something like that. And she wanted people to be honest about this, because her point of view was that, you know, colonialism couldn't have been all bad, because in her opinion and in her definition of what civilization is, that was brought to Africa during colonialization. Stone buildings and ships, and colonialization and imperialism. That was her definition of what civilization meant, right? Because we know that civilization has always been subjective. It comes down to culture and to the society around you, and that shapes it. So I think what she was trying to do was trying to appease both her a very conservative audience on the one hand, saying that, okay, colonialism wasn't all bad, because if colonialism didn't happen, European descent would not have reached Africa, right? So I think she was trying to do that, but also trying to say that, okay, it was negative in certain aspects, trying to appease to a different kind of audience. And that is exactly what she was trying to do in a recent interview when asked about the war in Gaza. She deflected, she didn't answer the question, because she has a pro-Zionist lobby right here in South Africa. So she's playing optics in politics.
The problem with Helen Zille is that she thinks we owe white people a huge thank you for bringing civilization to Africa. They walk around feeling entitled because in their little minds, they believe that the apartheid government developed South Africa's infrastructure and therefore it belongs to white people and shall be ruled or governed by white people. I'm telling you now, if you people vote for her to be mayor of Johannesburg, she's going to use the DA's modus operandi. They deliberately inflating property rates in Cape Town to squeeze South Africans out of the CBD and other affluent areas. In their Israeli minds, black people belongs in the slum. Black people belong in the slums. And if you vote for her to be your mayor in Johannesburg, you will kiss the city of Johannesburg goodbye. You will be isolated in the slums. You'll be living in rural areas where there is inadequate government services, poor housing. That's where you will live if you vote for her. She'll use the DA's modus operandi, where she brings in all her European investors, the foreign markets, to infiltrate the city of Johannesburg. Not because they want to develop it, not because they want to revive the city of gold to its former glory. No. Johannesburg will be revived. Like I have no doubt in my mind that Helen Zille will revive Johannesburg, the infrastructure and everything. It will work. But who will she be developing Johannesburg for? Reviving it for? For her European friends. Because trust me, once the developments start happening in Johannesburg, you won't be able to afford to live in Johannesburg. The property prices will be off the roof. The inflation rate, I'm not even going to speak about it. The quality of life will increase for white people. But for you guys, it's going to be wah, 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 wah. Meow, meow, meow. You live in the slums. You will never be able to afford to live in Johannesburg, in the city of Johannesburg. You will hear of the developments, but you won't be able to experience it. Instead, you will work in the city as garden boys and girls and maids. Garden boys and girls and maids. The quality, the premium apartheid jobs for these European investors. You'll be cleaning their houses. They'll tell the government, we need more land to build property. Driving up price, inflation rate. You won't be able to afford food. You won't be able to go to these malls that you are so happy and free to go into and do your grocery shopping and everything will be, hi, Kiki. Yeah, you'll kiss that goodbye. You will stick to the Somalian, Ethiopian, Pakistani spaza shops. That's the only thing you'll be able to afford once she's mayor. But trust me, I have no doubt in my mind that once she steps in as mayor, she will transform that city. She will restore it to its former glory. I have no doubt. I mean, have you seen Cape Town? And I'm not saying it's the DA. No. Through the European money, the private market sector money, she will be able to revive that. Not because it's the DA. No, the DA has nothing to do with the development of Cape Town. It has little to do with it. It's that European money, and it's going to travel down to Johannesburg. And yeah, the last memory you will have of Johannesburg will be now with what's that street? Is it Lillian Ngoyi Street in Johannesburg? Yeah, that will be the last thing you remember about Johannesburg. The cultural identity of the city will completely change. And of course, these European investors, they come with their own culture and influence and language. So they will be pushing out the locals' culture and identities and language out of the city. The only people, you'll be speaking Russian, Spanish, anything but your own native language in Johannesburg. Yep. The city will be unrecognizable to you. Your cultural identity isolated. You live in the slums. Vote for her and you'll see. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. And oh, family, you already know what it is. I have my own YouTube channel. It's called The Native Talk. The link is in the description box below. So do go to the description box below, click on the link, and subscribe to The Native Talk. And let us have a productive conversation about Africa's political landscape, the African political buzz, the culture, and your favorite travel destination spots right here in South Africa. And maybe me and you could travel together in South Africa with me as your tour guide, of course. Until then, see you next time.